time for another monthly wrap-up. I think it's been 6 or 7 of these. So if you don't know how I do these, I'm changing it so it doesn't matter. But what I'm keeping the same is I'm always going to start out with the absolute worst book and make my way all the way to my top rated book of the month. So this February, I read 4 books. Okay, when I say read, I mean completed, got to the end of. I'm in the middle of like 5 books, so that's probably why I only finished 4 of them. But yeah, this time I've decided to look at the Goodreads rating and compare my independent rating before ever seeing the Goodreads rating to that rating, because I'm under the impression that I don't like the ratings that Goodreads gives. So we're gonna keep doing this every month for every book I read. So starting off, I really wanted to read romance. It's February, so Not That Kind of Ever After was exactly what I was looking for. Exactly. It started off so well. It was funny. I was loving it. And then over time, I hated the main character and rooted for her downfall. So I'm gonna talk about the plot. So if you want to read this book, skip ahead. But the main character, okay, the root of the problem is she has no sense of independence, and her whole life is about her best friend. The whole book, she was obsessed with her to the extent that it seemed like she was like in love with her. That was never like explored in the book, but everything was about her. So Bella is the main character. Her best friend gets engaged, and she hates that. I think it's jealousy because she's in love with her. And she gets into a fight with her best friend's fiance, who basically says everything I'm thinking. Get your own life. You're obsessed with her. Calm down. And she's just freaking out that her best friend is not with her every second of the day. And it was just so annoying. But the point of the book is that the character is terrible, and then she realizes everything she's doing wrong. So it's not like the author wrote a book where they weren't aware of like how bad the main character was. She was a terrible person, but she was just very annoying. And then she's a writer, Bella, the main character, and she just wants fame so bad. She's so desperate, and I just could not stand reading it. And to the end of the book, the chapters get shorter and shorter and shorter. And on my ebooks, a lot of chapters were 1 page, and that's basically like probably like a fourth of a page of like a real book. I read this on Libby, and so I thought that was kind of lazy that the chapters were just getting shorter and shorter as like the book went on. So this ended up being 2 stars, which is really disappointing because I liked it at the beginning. So that's enough about Not That Kind of Ever After by Lucy Adams. So I rated that book 2 stars, and Goodreads gave it 3.31, which is the biggest probably discrepancy on this list. The next book I read was Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco, and I have a toxic relationship with the Kingdom of the Wicked series. The first book gaslit me into thinking it was a good book. I remember finishing that and being disappointed. The second book was one of the worst books I've ever read. It was like all filler, and I could have skipped that book entirely. And then the third book's actually good. And by that time, I was so checked out, and I just wanted to be done with the series because I saw some hope in the book, and it was interesting, so I just stopped. Let me get to the series. I'm not a serious girl because I just don't want to suffer through bad books just to get to the end. And I was just skimming Kingdom of the Feared because I just wanted to be done with the series. But it was significantly better than the other 2 books. I don't know. I might just recommend read the first and the last book. But yeah, this series just made me so upset that like by the time the 3rd book came around, I was just like, I was emotionally done. So anyway, that is a romantasy. the big issue with it is it's too focused on the like insta-love relationship. Like it's like insta-lust relationship. So that's probably the biggest problem. Kingdom of the Feared, I give it 3 stars, and Goodreads has it ranked as a 3.88, which I think is good. I think it doesn't deserve more than a 4, so I agree with that. The next book I read was The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. Like I said, this February I wanted to read a lot of romance books, and that was what I got. I really enjoyed this. This was the fastest I've ever read a book. Possibly ever. This might be 1 or 2. It was like 600 plus pages on ebook, and I was flipping through. That's pretty long for me on an ebook. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I like couldn't put it down. I couldn't stop reading it. I call this a candy book. Like it doesn't have substance, but like I can't stop eating it. This may not be good for me, but I just keep eating it. I give it a 3 stars because the writing wasn't groundbreaking. But basically, it's about a OnlyFans star who is being the nanny for her biggest fan, and he doesn't know that it's her. And so, that is that. Yeah. I'm interested in what else she writes. She has like a shifter book out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read that, but let me know. Her other book is good. So I gave that 3 stars, and Goodreads has it ranked as a 3.58. So I really enjoyed The Nanny. I just wanted a lighthearted romantic time, and that was what I got. The next book is The Roommate, and this was, I think, my first ever audiobook I've listened to completion, because most audiobooks, they just lose me. I either fall asleep or just... So before I get into the book, I'll just talk about my audiobook experience, for this being like my first audiobook all the way through. So it's hard. Like, give me advice for audiobooks, because I want to get through it. It was taking forever. But like when I'm doing things, I couldn't focus on the words, and I had to keep rewinding. So if you have any advice for audiobooks, let me know. That was tough. This book, if I read it physically, it would have been 5 stars. But because I didn't like the voice of the man in the audiobook, I took off a whole star, which is not right. So I hope to reread the physical book and then give a rating. But for the audiobook, 4 out of 5. And I think I just would have loved reading it, and I should have just read it. But, you know, it wasn't terrible, because I liked the female voice. So the 2 leads are Clara and Josh. And I just, the voice for Josh just wasn't right. Maybe his voice was too old, or what. Josh is an adult film star, and I feel like the voice actor was trying to give like a sleazy adult film star voice, and it just was not working. I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but the voice didn't fit the character. It just didn't fit. But Clara is super uptight. She moves across the country from New York to California to see unrequited love, and that doesn't work out, and that's how the book starts. Her unrequited love moves out, and Josh moves in, and they have to cohabitate. And yeah, the voice for Clara was perfect, but the voice for Josh was not. The only criticism I have for the book was the author made Clara way too naive. Like we're talking book smart, but like she didn't know anything about the world. Like not anything about the world, but like when it comes to like intimate physical relationships, she was way too naive. And I'm like, come on, like we all know these things. And it was very clear that Josh was attracted to Clara. And it was one of those where for some reason the main character Clara wouldn't understand that Josh was attracted to her, even though he told her that. And there was multiple instances where he demonstrated that he was attracted to her, and she still wasn't getting it. Like, it's kind of annoying when books, it's so obvious that they both like each other, and they've made that clear, but they're still like, oh no, he doesn't like it. That was pretty extreme in this book. Like, but yeah, it was amazing to go into Rosie Donen's writing. She expands my vocabulary. It was good humor. It was good pace of a book. Usually books are like not that kind of after the chapters were like way too short, and sometimes they're drawn out, like Kingdom of the Weird. This pacing was perfect. So yeah, the writing was amazing. The characters, I'm pretty sure if I read this, it would win 5 stars. As I said, give it a 4 star, and Goodreads gives it a 3.5 star, which, okay, I guess I can live with that. So I wasn't as up in arms with the Goodreads ratings. I'm not a Goodreads fan, but not that kind of Raptor is like the biggest one that I like have evidence that rating is too high for that book. But yeah, to not end on a negative note, I highly recommend The Roommate. I think it's pretty tasteful spice. But you know, if you don't like spice, it's not for you. But thank you so much for watching. I'm in the middle of so many books right now, so I'm probably gonna read a lot next month. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.